All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, call Allah, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Israel, aka the Apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love always to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick. So as the title reads, gonna get right into it. It's all the prophecies are unfolding, and it feels great. As of last couple weeks, ever since America and Iran and the small hats in our land, Amalek, started going to war, it's been crashing down ever since, even more than all the other stuff that's been happening. And on top of all of that, so that's why I said all the problems focus more on that, because that's what's prevalent right now. Because you just had Trump. Basically, it says at first it said he adds, and now it's saying he's demanding that NATO and other countries help with the whole thing with the Strait of Hormuz being closed and all that. So, and you have his European allies, his Edomite allies, NATO, EU allies, whatever have you. They're not really budging right now. So, the prophecy said the beast shall hate the whore, and the whore being America and the beast being the EU, aka NATO, because you got EU countries and NATO and vice versa. Now you're starting to see it unfold. And now we're starting to see why and how the Lord is going to have the beast actually hate the whore. Because it's not going to be like, we just hate you just because we hate you. It's what they're doing. And look what America has been bringing to the earth with all its actions. You know what I'm saying? Look what the whore has been doing. The whore has been whoring around, doing a bunch of bullshit, stealing, killing, all things of his nature and their nature as well. But what's happening is the whore, Babylon the Great, which is America, is basically now making it not so savory for the other Edomites to be in their kingdom and enjoy their kingdom, which lets you know we're at the end of their kingdom. Because the Lord said, what? A kingdom divided against itself shall be what? It shall be destroyed. It shall not stand. And that's what's happening right now to Esau's kingdom on its entirety, because the Lord has actual elite Edomites make this go down, having Trump do this, having BB or the small hat do this, having the politicians do this, having these laws, legislations made. So not, but all to what? But what's going to be the end? What's going to be the final result? The final result is that this place is going to be destroyed with nuclear destruction, and Esau, the EU, NATO, all these other so-called white people countries, they're all going to be put into slavery, and they're all going to be destroyed. But this land known as America is going to be destroyed. So hold on. You know what? I guess I should read. Hold up. King James. King James Bible Online. Revelation. Revelation 17. Hold up, bear with me. Revelation 17. The beast shall hate the whore. The beast shall hate the whore. And that's what's happening right now. And you see the tension amongst the beast and the whore. Because, hold on one second. Because now it's affecting their peace. Hold on, what the hell? Okay, here we go. So we're gonna go into the book of Revelation, chapter 17. Start at the top. So there's the book of Revelation, and then I'm gonna go into this article. So there's the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 1. Excuse me, and it reads, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." And that whore is talking about America, the United States. It said, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." Now, the wine of her fornication is all her ways, her influence, as far as first and foremost their dollar, which is losing its strength. Like the whole quote unquote freedom and liberties and all the things that America offered as far as You could basically do what the fuck you want. You could be a Mo, you could be a lesbo, you could be a PDF and not be put to death. You could be an adulterer, you could be an idolater, you could do all the things that's very unpleasing to the Heavenly Father. It says, verse 3 says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right? Now, here's going interesting, because this goes into what's taking place right now. And it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Now, remember when you go back to Jeremiah, where I think 49 and 50, where it said that Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Babylon, America was used for an important part of Jacob's punishment and Jacob's iniquity. Was being put under these devils, having to be under their thumb. All right, but now the time is up, because the Lord said what? Lamentation, the 4th chapter. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Revelation chapter 17, verse 5, and it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots, and abomination of the earth. Now, who else represents that? And in this time, when John was alive writing this on the island of Patmos, that was during the Roman Empire. So you had the other oh, excuse me. You already had a lot of basically you had all the other empires and kingdoms already took place and went down. You had the Babylonians already go down, the ancient Babylons. You had the Assyrians. You had the Persians. You had the Egyptians. You had all of those other empires all took place already. They all had its run prior to when John wrote this about the whore. I'm gonna jump down. And it says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, you see when it says the beast like the whore, it said the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are seven mountains on which the woman sitteth. Now those 7 mountains, 7 heads are governments, and they represent which represented the Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, Germania Minor, and the British. All part of Esau's kingdom, all part of who's ruling right now. Same people. And 7 heads or 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And they all have, and the beast, or excuse me, the whore is juiced into all of them. All right? And then there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And those 5 that are fallen, obviously the 10 horns represent the EU, but it said the 5 that are fallen are the Greeks, Spanish, French, Germania Minor, and Germania Minor. The one that is the Roman Empire. Because that's what John was in. The one that is not yet come is the British. And obviously, over time, then the British came about. Verse 11. Verse 11, it said, and the beast that was and is not even he is the 8th. He is the 8th and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition. And the beast that was and is not and makes the 8th, but is of the 7 is America, because it was spawned from the UK and Britain. UK/Britain. And the 10 horns, in verse 12, and it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Now that's representing the EU. And you can sprinkle a little bit of NATO in there, because you have countries that's in the EU and NATO both together. But the 10 horns represent the EU, which is the European Union, and which is the same countries right now that Trump is asking for help against the Iran, and they're not trying to help them. And that's what I'm about to get into this article, and it's gonna show how this is coming to pass. It says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Because why? They're all going to come against America. That's why I said the beast shall do it, but I'm going to read it. And it said, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Because why? That great war is going to happen. That great war with the Lord, YAHAWASHI, his son YAHAWASHI, the Heavenly Father being Yahweh, he's going to send YAHAWASHI back to the earth, and he's going to destroy these nations and their armies, starting with Esau, Edom, starting with the beast, starting with the EU, starting with NATO, America, Esau, the small hats that's in our land. You're going to get them the fuck out of here. All right? It says, this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 15, and it says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. And that's what's happening right now. That's what's taking place right now. The beast, EU, NATO, what have you, is beginning to hate the whore. And why is that? Why is that? It's not just randomly. It's why. Because America, the whore, is basically doing things, fucking their shit up, causing them to have to go to war. Remember, nobody really wants to go to war. But you got America basically running like kind of like solo, but then wanting to involve the EU countries. And now and the picture, that picture I put on it for the thumbnail, it says Trump says we don't need no help. But just you saying you don't need no help, but then you saying, oh, if NATO don't help us, it's gonna be hell to pay. Well, which one is it? Do you need help or do you need their help or not? You went along and attacked them without their help. Now you need their help because what, the Iranians are giving more than what you thought they would be able to give, as far as the give back. It says, yeah, they shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Because why? They're going to also shoot missiles at America. And I was thinking, and I was meditating today, that when it talks about that, the beast at the whore, the EU country, which are also so-called white people, white people don't have no problem killing each other. They're not going to have a problem bombing America. Why? They feel like America is the cancer on the earth, and that's fucking up their shit. Yeah, they Edomites. Yeah, they're so-called white people, but they don't give a fuck about that. You got these Edomites, they take out their own families all the time. For no reason. But look at the reason, look what America's doing as far as what it's doing affecting the whole earth damn near. Because it's affecting the oil prices, it's affecting food, it's going to affect food prices. Because of the oil prices, the Strait of Hormuz being closed. It's not just they just going to war and then everybody just let them do that and then everybody just, all right, we just chill. No. It's going to be a trickle-down effect of effects that's going to fuck people up. And then sooner rather than later, people like friends and family, people in America, Jake, that have been dwelling carelessly, Jake, Edomites, these heathens that's been in America dwelling carelessly, they're going to see how bad it's going to get and how much they're going to start to care eventually, man. Because now, once gas prices go up so much, to where it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? They already said it. They already said that the food prices, they said that the farmer, fruits and vegetables, the farmers going to halt production due to the war in Iran. Airline price, you already got the government has shut down with the Department of Homeland Security, TSA not getting paid. So you already have chaos. You already have major problems on the earth already. On top now, the war is adding more and more problems and more worse problems and quicker. And it's all because of what? America and Israel attacking fucking Iran 2 weeks ago. That's where all this is stemming from. And also stemming from what's happening with Russia and Russia and Ukraine, the Israel and Palestine Gaza thing. But this thing with Iran is what really is going to take the cake. Because Iran is a country, they're able to do certain things that Palestine wasn't able to do, Gaza, what have you, Ukraine. Soon as they attack the Iranians, they close the Strait of Hormuz. And they know, like, yo, Them attacking, fighting the militia groups is all well and good, but now they're fighting a country that got weight, they got stake in the world. They got some weight in here, man. And America thought they was gonna be able to just roll over. They thought you were gonna roll over on them. They thought they was gonna just come attack them, and they was just gonna surrender to them. No, man. The Lord's scripture said, "What? Let the weak say that I am strong." They thought they just, oh, you America and they Iran, they were just going to bow down to you. Anywho, and now that you're fighting Iranians, now you coming to NATO. I mean, you coming to the EU countries for help after they were expressly as they were adamant about not wanting you to attack Iran. I don't remember hearing the EU countries talk about, yeah, go attack Iran. That was mainly them small ants and America going it based off of what they want. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So let me get this article. Oh no, don't send me the notifications. Now this is from the NPR. I forget what it stands for, but it's a credible source. And it says Trump demands NATO and China police the Strait of Hormuz. So far they aren't joining. Now, even though the EU is NATO, I said the EU is NATO. The 10 horns, and I just read in Revelation 17, it represents the EU, but you have a lot of the EU countries that's in NATO, and vice versa. All right? So, it goes one hand in hand sometimes. Because they all do got dealings with each other. But anyway, so it says, with the Iran war entering their third week, Israel said it plans for at least 3 more weeks of war, while President Trump demanded other countries help the U.S. secure the vital Strait of Hormuz. And the second front in the war is heating up with new small hat ground operations in neighboring Lebanon. President Trump on Monday, that was yesterday. President Trump on Monday continued to press other countries to join U.S. efforts to secure a critical shipping route off the coast of Iran. Iran's ability to threaten slow-moving oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz has become a headache for the Trump administration as it creates a stranglehold on a passageway through which roughly 20% of the world's oil trade typically passes. On Saturday, President Trump called on China, France, Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, which is the British, which are part of the 7 heads, and the French. Yeah, the French is part of it too. Yeah, the 7 heads is French. Well, one of the 7 heads is the French. Under sends warship to the Strait of Hormuz. In an interview with the Financial Times, Trump warned that it will be very bad for the future of NATO if countries fail to police the strait. This is Trump talking. It says, I'm demanding that these countries come in and protect their own territory because it is their own territory, Trump said aboard Air Force One on Sunday. Whether we get support or not, I can say this, and I said it to them, we will remember, he said. Remember, I don't give a fuck. It says, but foreign nations have reacted cautiously with several outright rejecting Trump's requests. UK is also part of the 7 heads. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer rebuffed Trump's demands, telling reporters on Monday he is working with allies on a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but it won't be a NATO mission. While taking the necessary action to defend ourselves and our allies, we will not be drawn into the wider war, he says. See? So they're not trying to be dragged into this war, but you're going to get dragged into it. But that's why the beast shall hate the whore. Because the whore is dragging the beast in the war, and the beast didn't want this war. It's like they're a gang, and you have that one gang member that's always getting in the shit, getting the gang in the fights, brawls, shootouts, so on and so forth. That's what America is doing with the EU and the NATO. It says most Britons oppose the war. The British government said it has given the U.S. access to its military bases only for what it calls limited defensive action. Because why? Iran destroyed the U.S. bases in the Middle East. It said Germany also sees no role for NATO in policing the strait. See, they're not trying to help them. And Germany is part of the NATO and part of the EU. It says as long as this war continues, there will be as long as this war continues, there will be no involvement, not even in an option to keep the Strait of Hormuz open by military means. Stefan Cornelius, a spokesperson for German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, said in Berlin on Monday, which was yesterday. I would also like to remind you that the U.S. and Israel did not consult us before the war, and that Washington explicitly stated at the start of the war that European assistance was neither necessary nor desired, he added, according to Politico. It's not our war. We didn't start it. We want diplomatic solutions and a swift end, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said. Spain and Italy, which is Spain is also part of the seven heads. Oh, Spain and Italy also said they would not send ships to the strait. Italy is not at war with anyone, and sending military ships in the war zone would mean entering the war, said Italian Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini. China called for anti-hostilities but will not say if it will help secure the strait. The recent tense situation in the Strait of Hormuz and waters nearby has impacted the route for international goods and energy trade, disrupting peace and stability in the region and beyond. See? The peace. But here it is, Trump would talk about what? He the president of peace. Beyond. China's foreign ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said on Monday, he said China is in talks with the different parties in the war to work for the de-escalation of the situation. South Korea's government said adequate time for deliberation is needed to consider Trump's request. Japan is bound by laws that strictly limit overseas military deployments. Tokyo has suggested that Operation in the Strait of Hormuz might not pass legal muster. We have not made any decisions whatsoever about dispatching escort ships. We are continuing to examine what Japan can do independently and what can be done within a legal framework, Prime Minister Sanae Takachi told Parliament. But Trump's request will likely top the agenda when Takachi visits the White House on Thursday. Australia said it has not been asked to join the naval coalition to secure the Strait of Hormuz and ruled out sending ships to do so. So nobody trying to get in this. Nobody trying to help them, quote unquote, whatever with the Strait of Hormuz since Iran closed it after they attacked them. Here it is. America want all this help to do something with the Strait of Hormuz. But if you wouldn't have attacked Iran, this wouldn't be an issue. You brought this issue upon yourself. And no, and not upon yourself, upon the whole world, because they're all being affected too. It talks about trade for energy and goods. It says European Union, and now we got the beast talking. European Union foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas said Monday she had spoken to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres about how to unblock the strait. It is in our interest to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, and that's why we are also discussing what we can do in this regard from the European side, she said. And see, and now they're going to get dragged in it. Speaking to reporters on Monday, President Trump said some countries have come forward to help secure the strait, but declined to say which ones. It's a fucking lie. So why can't you say which ones? It says Israel's military says there are still thousands of targets in Iran and that the war will last at least 3 more weeks. This comes as the timeline from Israel and the U.S. has kept changing since they began launching strikes on Iran on February 28th, which is a couple weeks ago. Yeah, they just, hold up. Yeah, that's pretty... Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. See, but yeah, so basically in a nutshell, you got the America dragging the EU, NATO countries into this war, basically trying to drag them into the war with the whole thing with the Strait of Hormuz, because I don't know, I know I know that Iran has said that if they attack them, they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. And then close the Strait of Hormuz after they attack them, because you know what? Why would they be bluffing? And remember, this is prophecy. This is the wars and rumors of wars. This is what Yahawashi spoke about upon what was going to be happening before his, shortly before his return to the earth. The nation would be fighting. These are prophecies taking place. The Bishai Dor is part of prophecy. That's a prophecy. When John wrote it, it was something that was to happen in the future after he wrote it. And now we're in a time where that's happening. We're at the end. These are the last days. Sure, if you didn't know, now you know. These are the last days. They still got the mark of the beast. They talk about the mark of the beast. They talk about being against the mandatory digital IDs that's coming, and what's going to be the consequences of that. So something's happening. That's why the Lord said, what? He shall shorten the days. Stuff is speeding up quick. There's not much time left for the devil. That's why the devil's doing all of this. That's why they're talking about all this war talk. Because we're at the end of an era. We're at the end of a kingdom. All right? So that's pretty much it. And that's what I want to bring out, because, like, you know, man, it's beautiful. And it's beautiful to see. This is something that gives you joy in your day, man. When you got to deal with the bullshit of this life, man. Got to deal with the bullshit of working, paying bills, health, worrying about your health. You know? This shit ass. This shit sucks. And you got our people that think that this is the best thing, this is the best ever we're going to have. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, that's it, man. So, you know, with that, Lord, when this is edifying, I'm going to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, and Kakadash. Double honor to the Apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the Apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.